Welcome to the Heartful of Hallmark podcast. I have the joy of having Kathryn Davis on today, and I apologize, it's just me. You do not have the stars of the show, Kirsten or Amanda today. You're stuck with me, and I apologize. But welcome in, Kathryn. It's so nice to meet you. How are you doing?
So lovely to meet you as well, Noah. I'm doing very well, thank you. And you were all I needed for today, so no apologies needed. Noah, you're going to be fabulous. So I'm very excited to meet you virtually through this podcast.
Yes.
Long distance.
We've talked a little bit, but life's been going so quick. It feels like it's been months since we've first started talking, but actually it's only been, a month?
You know what? I can't even remember the time frame. I know that we had to delay a little bit because of just, life, and I was very lucky to have a few projects and stuff. So it ended up being that when we cemented July 19th, I was like, okay, perfect. I don't think I've got anything going on at that point. So
I'm so lucky because I almost thought I was going to have to work through it. And I went, you can call somebody else in. I've had this scheduled for a month. But so before we start off, we know you from multiple films in the Hallmark genre, but also in the rom-com genre. Before we start off on the questions on your films, do you have a specific one that your family loves to go back and watch? And what's your favorite film to go back and rewatch of yours?
There's definitely a favorite. My mom loves Christmas on Fifth Avenue. It was my first ever lead role working with the lovely Olivier Renault. That was, I think we filmed that, 3 years ago now. So that is definitely a favorite with my family. I honestly, the two projects that I've had the absolute honor to work on this year, I think are going to almost rival that in terms of favorite this coming Christmas. So for myself, I don't have a specific favorite because every single shoot is, because I know all of the insides, the outs, the behind the scenes of everything. Every time I have the opportunity to work, it's magical to me, and I build such incredible memories along the way. So I can't say that one project is my favorite. I love them all. I love all the ones that I get the honor and the opportunity to work on and so forth. So, yeah.
Which one is the one that everybody goes, were you in this one? Which movie was the first one where someone said, were you in that Christmas movie I saw?
I got recognized over the phone in a job that I had a few years ago. And the person was coming in for an appointment, and they recognized my voice over the phone. And they were like, do you do Christmas movies? And that one was Christmas Carousel I got recognized from. So I was like, whoa, didn't think my voice was that, recognizable, especially because I had to kind of sharpen up my English accent for that role itself. Instead, normal times I have this funny hybrid sort of kind of transatlantic thing going. So that was the first one that I ever got recognized from, but not face to face over the phone.
And what's the one in person that everybody goes, which one is it? Maybe the Planes, Trains, and Christmas Trees, or is it the Christmas on Fifth Avenue?
Christmas on Fifth Avenue.
Yeah,
that one is, I think that one's quite a favorite with audiences just in general. So I get, people message me every once in a while and they're like, oh, I'm so excited for this, but Christmas on Fifth is still my favorite. So that's my personal goal, is to make I've got to beat that. I have to hit the next level with every movie that comes along. And director Amy Force, she, same thing. A lot of people ask her about that film in particular. So yeah.
You've worked with Amy 3 times now?
5
times now?
Yes, I just finished a production with her a couple weeks ago. We go back. I met her at the same time as Olivier, actually. We were both on a production called The Wedding Planners. So she was directing a couple of episodes that I was sort of recurring in. And so that was my first time. Second time I reunited with her was Christmas on 5th. Then we did Santa's Got Style together with Franco Lopresti, and then I did All Aboard for Love with Ish Morris as well. And then this last production was my second production with the particular company, her first one. So it was really lovely to be able to reunite and be like, yes, this is, I was in a supporting role the first time I worked with this company. So I was like, this is my first lead. This is her first directorial. Let's go. Let's knock it out. So yeah, Amy's amazing. I really, really love her directing style. And I think, yes, the production we did together this year is going to be hopefully a new favorite for people this holiday season.
With her, when you saw that she was your director, did that make it easier for this particular film?
It was a big stress reliever. I got the call from my agent about this role about 2 days before I was flying out to the UK to film another one. So I was like, I was already sort of deep into script work on one production that was taking me overseas, and I knew I was going to be away for a month kind of thing. And then this one came up. So to be honest, at first, I read a little bit at the airport. I had to shelve it for a little bit because I was like, I need to just focus on this one right now, knock it out of the ballpark, and then I can put all of my energy behind this next one. But I did get an email from Amy. So I didn't know it was Amy until she emailed me. And then she said, we're doing this movie together. I was like, oh, okay. So it was a huge stress reliever for me because I was like, okay, I know what I'm in for. Like, I know that, Amy and I will touch base beforehand. I know that we've got a really good working rapport with each other. We understand how one another works. It's a very collaborative process. So I was like, I'm good. I should be good. Let me focus on the one movie, wrap that, and then come back to Canada to do the next one. So, yeah.
And with Ollie, right? What was the easier film with him? Was it the Planes, Trains, or was it the Fifth Avenue? Which one was the easier one? First meeting or seeing each other again? For the second time.
They're challenging different ways because before we went into production on Christmas on 5th, Olivia and I actually touched base and we were doing rehearsals about 3 weeks before we went to film. Because we knew that, it was my first lead. It was his second lead, but first with this production company. And so we just were like, we want to get this right. We want to make sure it's grooving. We connected just really easily. He's so easy to talk to. He's so intelligent. He's so artistic and everything. So he's just a dream. And we both come from theater backgrounds. So we both play and react off of one another live. You can do as much prep work as you can, but until you're working opposite another breathing, blood pumping human, you never know what's kind of come. So Christmas on 5th, because we were so prepped beforehand, it relieved the stress because, many people will tell you that they're like, oh yeah, you're number one. Everything's on your shoulders. I'm like, okay, it can feel quite paralyzing sometimes when people are kind of telling you that. So I think I had the best first experience as a lead possible because I had the support of Olivier, other amazing cast and crew members, and Amy. Planes, Trains, and Christmas Trees was a challenge to not laugh because we knew each other so well, and we ended up gelling so well as well with Rick Waugh and Ava, who plays his cousin in the movie. It was really hard to keep a straight face sometimes, and we filmed that in the depths of January, February. So you're constantly chasing daylight because you only have a finite amount of daylight to film in. So, the call times are you're waking up at 4 a.m. You have to shoot before the sun's dropping at 4 o'clock in the afternoon kind of thing. So we had to really put professional boots on and not giggle. So it was a challenge for that side. And also because the characters that we were playing, Brett and Kaylee, they weren't supposed to know each other. They're supposed to have just met by happenstance at an airport when they can't get home. Well, Olivier and I know each other a little too well. And so we had a few takes of the scenes when we were elves and we're like playing off of each other, and the director had to remind us, say, don't forget, you only just met. And I'm like, right, yes. Shut up, man. Like, we're not supposed to be friends, okay? We're not supposed to be friends. So we had to have that reminder a couple times on set because, it was, there's an ease when we work together. And I would really love to get like another reunion with him. There's been a couple, we chat every few months, and there's been a couple times when I had a casting call come through for a production, and I knew he was in Mexico at the time on a trip, and I was WhatsApping him. I'm like, you have to ask your agent like to input you for this. I'm like, this is literally us. We didn't get cast, unfortunately, but I was like, this is literally me and you. And he got the casting call. He got the sides, everything. We were really pushing our agents to be like, how about this? How about this duo? It's already, we've worked together before, easy peasy. But they unfortunately went a different direction.
Darn.
Yeah.
Well, let's just say this. We know that with each duo, we see you guys more and more and more. We've seen this many times. We have like a Cindy and a Christopher, and we have a Lacey and Brennan.
Mm-hmm.
So maybe it can be Kathryn and Olivier.
Cat and Ollie.
Yeah,
I'd love it. Cat and Ollie. Yeah, that would be a really amazing duo to kind of match up again. And it was ironic that the first movie I did after Christmas on 5th aired, it was boom in my inbox, and I was literally reading through the script, and then suddenly my phone goes bing, and it was Olivier, and he's like, are you doing like Planes, Trains, and Christmas Trees? I'm like, are you playing Brett? And so like from there, and we saw each other the first day, we're like,
yeah,
we've done this before. So that was cracks the ice easily.
Mm-hmm. Which set was the easiest? Was it the Planes, Trains? Just because you've worked with him multiple times, but which set was the easiest for you to work on? Was it this one, or was it the daunting task and the worst set ever with all the puppies on Everything Puppies? Because I'm sure every day on set was just the most miserable day you've ever had in your entire life. Oh my gosh, all these puppies around, and then you got two massive pros.
It was trying, very, very trying. Every day was a challenge. Oh no, Everything Puppies was, they were just, I have 2 dogs of my own. So just to be smothered and surrounded by these gorgeous little like golden retriever puppies, there are 15 total. And we worked with 2 different sort of, I guess you could say, batches of them because baby's got to sleep. So yeah, I remember I think it was my second day on set. I just literally, we were filming outside, and the puppies are supposed to kind of run in and enter and like smother Pascal on the grass, and I ended up just cuddling this little female with a violet like purple collar. I actually called her Violet because she just like laid in my arm. I'm just like, this is just great. The fact that this is my adult job, and I'm being paid to just hang out with puppies and say some lines on camera and just have fun on sets, everything. So yeah, no, every production I've done, I've been so blessed to, cross paths, and especially within the crew community as well. You will end up working with the same people, or they know someone that you do. My first time stepping into Fireside, they already knew Olivier. They already knew Ish Morris. Yep. There's 2 companies that the staff will jump back and forward. So my makeup artist for Everything Puppies, I'd worked with her a year before on Welcome to Valentine. And she had not done my makeup, but she had been in as a daily to help out. And so I'm like, Allie, so it's really lovely to get to cross paths with familiar faces. It always makes things like more comfortable as well on set. Small family like unit.
Yeah. So we've talked about the light side of set. We know that all these cold, snowy, fun Christmas movies aren't shot around the cold season all the time. Was there any film that was shot during a heat wave when it was 95 degrees out and you had to wear these coats, hats, and gloves.
Yes. It seems that all we ever seem to do is film Christmas movies in extremes. So, how many have I done? Christmas on 5th was filmed in early summer. Planes, Trains, and Christmas Trees filmed in February. 6 Degrees of Santa filmed in April, a very cold April in Canada. It almost didn't need fake snow. Santa's Got Style was filmed in a very stifling July, and I had straight hair in that film. So their constant fight was with my little curls that like to kind of show up at the base of my hair, like hairline and everything. I'm like, oh, sorry. What was the one that I did in the UK? I actually lucked out very well, and we had beautiful spring weather when I was in England. Not that much rain either. Everyone kept saying, you must have brought the good weather from Canada. I was like, nope. We're brown ground. Like we don't have flowers, nothing in bloom. Nothing too challenging in terms of temperature on that one. We had a couple days with rain. Our actual finale sequence was filmed during a little rainstorm. So it's sort of like us being like, yes, I love you, fake snow, rain, all kinds of like, wet factors. The one I just wrapped was a roasty toasty one. Yes, you just have to hydrate as much as you can because you will just lose pounds of weight, especially when you've got to layer back on and you've got to have the scarves and you've got to have the gloves and everything. Like as soon as they approach you with that coat, you're like, no, get away. But you just have to hydrate in between and I have a little portable fan that I bought, so I bring that to set and I just plant it in front of my face half the time.
Yes.
So you're lucky. You've got an entire team that are keeping you looking like you're supposed to. So you just have to remember your lines and hit your blocking and try not to, pass out. Just hydrate.
It's 95 degrees.
Mm-hmm.
So one person I've spoke to, they had to shoot a Christmas movie in midsummer, and it was all shot on a bus with no air conditioning. About half of it was shot on the bus. So when they had to shoot those, they had to shoot those during very hot days, but their night shoots, it was cooler.
Yes.
So it was easier to wear those coats. So I can actually see every actor going, if you come at me with that coat, back away from me, foul beast.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, please, just let me breathe a little longer.
No.
The worst thing is the air conditioning, because you can't have it rolling during a take because the mics are so sensitive. So they'll be like, okay, rolling, shut it down. And you're just like, because you hear the machine saying shut down. And then as soon as they yell cut, you hear them boosting back up again. But yes, there are very much challenges when it comes to filming. I love scenes when they're inside and you don't need a coat. I'm like, this is great. This is just so great. They're like, oh yeah, so they'll take your coat, at the beginning, so just hand it off. You're like, yeah, no problem. Like, I'll never forget that part of my blocking for sure. Shredding a coat, get away from me.
Or when should I say this story? Okay.
Spill the beans. I need to hear.
I'm not going to say their name, but their one thing of blocking was just one scene. They walk through a door, fake snow, and it's supposed to be cold.
Yeah.
It was 105 degrees on the inside of the set, no air conditioning, and it just said, hang coat on coat rack. And she goes, I kind of felt like I forced that coat just a little bit too far the first time, because she was so excited to take that off and just stick it on the coat rack.
She forgot to kind of be like, shivering and remembering the atmosphere of the world, the mood of the world that she's in. That's what directors are good for, because they'll be like, yeah, it's cold. Like, right, duh, because it's so counterintuitive because you're
they,
sweating in the hot summer with jacket. Makes no sense.
they went, cut. Hey, you know it's supposed to be cold and it's snowing behind you. You're not supposed to be excited to take that coat off. And she goes, oh, roll back the take. Let's do that one more time.
I'll do one more. Give me one more.
Yeah, let's do a retake. And she literally went, retake. So just monotoned, not excited, but so like I want to be done with this because after that it was all inside shoot. Yes. All inside.
It pushes you to become more efficient at what you do. You're like, yep, let's get this over, get the challenge out. Yeah. And you'll read through the script, you'll be like, interior? Okay.
Sweater.
Yeah, you start to pick up tricks as an actor over time. Sometimes, if you know that certain challenges to do with like special effects or something are going to come into play, you're like, I'm going to like deliver my line, disguising my mouth perhaps because I know I'm going to have to match it in ADR. So, I'll thank myself 3 months down the road for making my life a little easier.
With the costumes, do you have a favorite costume that you've gotten to take from the set?
I don't often take pieces from set. Sometimes because it's like it'll be a request maybe as part of a contract, but it's not something that always productions will allow to happen. So my usual thing is that I try and take a piece of decor and then I put that on my Christmas tree at Christmas time. So I remember that. But for sure, I've had like favorite looks. My goodness, like Madison in Santa Scott Style. I really like the aesthetic that the company Brainpower do. They heighten it a little bit. There's like, heels, it's chic, because sometimes there are certain boundaries that you have to be within in terms of like the looks in general. I do get a great outfit in the movie I just finished with Amy Force, which is going to be part of like a big party sequence, and it's velvet and it's gorgeous. So that one would be that's a favorite look for me, for sure.
With those looks, was there any look that was really stressing? Like, say it might weigh a lot on you. Maybe like a dress or maybe a heavy coat. Was there anything that was hard to act through?
I'm trying to think back through. Not especially, because sometimes my practical brain comes into place beforehand. So I'll make a request with wardrobe if I feel that there's something. Another sneaky thing I do is if my height isn't an issue with a scene and it means that I can get away with wearing my Ugg boots or runners instead of like having to wear the heels, then I will do that. Sometimes it is more so shoes that can kind of cause me a little bit of like angst, because my heels, pumps, they sit differently. Sometimes you'll feel like you're walking like a penguin, but you're supposed to be walking in shoes that your character knows and everything. So I think that's more where my anguish comes from, is in the shoe department with things. So sometimes I just like to work with shoes as early as I can. And then again, tactics you pick up. So I'm like, are you seeing my feet in this shot? No? May I have my runners, please? Thank you. Ugg boots, thank you.
You're preaching to the choir.
Comfort always.
Well, I work in a shoe store. So I know all about comfort, and whenever a customer comes in, they're like, I want comfort, but I need a snow boot. I'm like, you need to go over here to the Mucklucks.
Oh yeah.
Or you can go over here to the Bear Paws, which are $20 cheaper. Wink, wink, nudge, nudge. Or maybe the fake Uggs over here.
Yeah.
Just because, well, they're the same boot. but they're like, which one is the most comfortable? I'm like, do you want fur or do you just want leather? If they want leather, I take them to like maybe a heeled Jessica Klein.
Okay.
Or if they want fur, I gotta go with that Bear Paw because it's warm, soft insole, and the best grip for any snowstorm.
Good to know, bear paw. Okay. I live in Canada, so
Yes.
absolutely comfort and feasibility on ice as well.
Yeah. And one thing is that there's these things that we sell. I'm not sure what they're called up there, but they're called ice grips. You stick them on the bottom of the ball of the foot, and then it makes it more grippy. Just
Okay.
more of a grip. So when you have to shoot any scene, I would highly recommend, if it's icy, prepare. Just because those are the best things that we've ever gotten in. Everybody loves them.
Oh, perfect. Okay. I'm noted. Next time. I mean, it's height of summer right now. I can't even imagine like snowstorms, but they'll be coming. They'll be coming.
We always say here in Ohio, it might be 90 degrees today. Wouldn't surprise me if it snowed tomorrow.
Yeah. You never know, right? You never know. We had incredible torrential rain earlier this week. So I live in Toronto, so or Toronto, as the locals say. So we had significant flooding. It's still recovering a little bit right now, but yeah, whole big well, what do you call them? Freeways. We call them highways, and England calls them motorways. All the different lingos. One of our sort of freeways got flooded where the river came up, and it was just there were cars stuck in the middle of it. So yeah, definitely there's no snow, but a lot of other liquid form of water itself.
You stayed home all week, I bet you, just because I'm not going out there. No way.
No, if Toronto did that, like we would never get anything done in sort of Canada in general. So unfortunately, I have some great winter boots that are very, very comfortable, and I have 2 dogs as well. There's no excuse for me. I have to take them out. So yeah, rain, sun, was it sun, rain, shine, snow, ice? Yeah, we had a few days of minus 28 maybe with a minus 35 wind chill. And at that point, it's not even safe for dogs to be out. You know, they can get frostbite on their paws and things, but still, dog mama was going out.
Yep.
Taking them out.
Well, my dog, he has very soft paws. And we were told, when I got him, I was told, don't let him out in the sun for too long because he can burn.
Okay.
I said, okay. Little did we know, he's a snow dog. He loves snow. And his first time seeing snow, it was like in the movies. He looked around, he stuck his nose in it, and I said, pumpkin. He goes, just gobs of snow on his nose. And then he got the zoomies. He zoomed around that snow, and he was the happiest in the snow. When it melted, I opened that back door, and he went, what'd you do? He was so discontent. He was so disheartened because he loved the snow. And now that it's hot, 2 minutes outside is more than enough. And he's like, I'm not going out there.
No.
I'm not going out there. Bring back that cold stuff.
Yeah.
Which bring that back to all of the Christmas movies. When he's acting bad, right? Most of the time between July 1st and August 1st, the majority of the time I have all the Christmas movies on because they're light, they're comfortable. The funny thing is, when he's being bad, it's never during a Hallmark movie. It's never during a Christmas movie. He's never bad. Never. He's the most perfect little angel when those are on.
Okay.
But say I change it to like the news or a game show or a sports game, then he decides to be bad. But during Christmas, no. Perfect little angel, because I think it calms him.
Yeah.
Calms him. All the happy light music, all the pretty colors. When I'm out at work, I leave him on for him, and he's just the happiest little dog. And then he actually will watch some TV shows and movies.
Oh.
So
I try and get mine to realize who I am. I'm like, who's that? Who's that? They don't get it.
uh,
In my voice, I'm like, they don't recognize my voice. I don't know if it's accent wise, maybe. I don't know.
yeah.
But yeah, they'll go up to like look behind the TV, being like, what is it? A squirrel? There's something out the window. What's going on? I'm like, no, I'm on the TV.
They're like, Mom, we don't care.
Yeah.
you
like,
you are mommy.
Food, walk, love.
Yeah. Bedtime?
They've been there during auditions as well. They've sabotaged a couple of auditions that I've done. And I've been like, babies, I have to work. I have to, this is work. This will get you, your treats, your this, your that kind of thing. So they still don't get it.
When I do these, my dog always goes to bed.
Mm.
And by bed, he goes outside and I run him. So he's very tired. And he's only like a year and 3 months, so he's still a puppy.
Oh, he's baby. Yeah.
I would call him a baby, but he's like 98 pounds.
Oh gosh.
And he's a big baby. But when he's that young, I'm happy he's still that young because I can still run him. And to do these shows and the podcasts, it's very easy to run him and have him be tired and go to sleep. And then afterwards, he goes, "Hi, Daddy."
Yeah. No, you got it planned. Mm-hmm. It's almost the same with I think with babies are like if they're sleeping, you have to sleep.
Yeah.
Sleep when the baby's sleeping, kind of thing. So it's like the same, almost the opposite with them. It's like they sleep and you get on with your work.
Yeah.
Sort of thing, the peaceful work that you need to do.
Yeah. And most of the time, it's very easy work. It's fun work. This is a fun job. This is just a fun job where I get to talk about what I love, mm-hmm. and I get to talk to awesome people who work on what I love and form a friendship with them.
Yeah.
But with him, it's so funny because he loves the Christmas movies because he's never bad. He's never awful. He's just a happy little dog, and he'll sit there and watch it. He loves snow, so I think he sees that white stuff, and I think that makes him happy in a way because he knows what that is.
Yeah.
The real snow. The real snow in that 95-degree set. Mm-hmm, sure.
I wonder what he would be like if he ever went to visit a set and saw what is not real snow.
I know what he would do. He would take it and he would run. He would take a piece of it and he would run and he would try to eat it.
My goodness. He really loves his snow.
Yeah. He goes outside, he sniffs the snow and he goes, "This tastes like my water bowl."
Yeah.
And he loves it. He'll get a big gob. You get a snowball and you throw it at him. It's his most favorite thing in the world. It's his favorite thing. And I usually say I can't wait for snow. With him, I can't wait for snow because it makes him happy. So it makes my job as a doggy daddy easier.
Yeah.
A lot easier.
Yeah. That's lovely. I say my happy place is often with my dogs. Yes. They come. My parents will bring them to visit me on set, so I'm like, oh yay! I get to see my babies get to visit me at work, kind of thing. And so they sometimes crash the set itself. Actually, my bigger one, Evie, was a little naughty and ended up barking in one of my takes, and I was like, oh no! Like I got them in. Like they were okay to come to set, and now she's already misbehaving. Like all I heard was woof. I'm like, oh. I didn't break, but inside I was like, oh no, my dog just ruined a take.
Was it fine? Was it the new one with Amy or was it one of your other ones?
New one with Amy.
Oh. What was she like? Well,
I don't remember what I don't remember what made her set off. because there was a lot going on in the particular scene itself. So there was knocking on a door, and it wasn't that made her go like woof woof kind of thing. It was something else. It just happened randomly in the middle of the scene. I'm like, oh, I know. My dog. Evie!
Yeah.
It'll cost me an ADR session. I have to do voiceover. But no, they're good as gold most of the time. So yeah.
Yeah.
They hang out.
Are they on set of every movie? Or most of them?
Most of the ones that I've done recently, where there haven't been maybe lockdown or quarantining kind of rules, everything kind of got a little bit lighter and lifted sort of in after 2021. So yeah, they've come up. I filmed up on the Georgian Bay, so they came to visit me there, up on a day trip. They come whenever I'm filming in Ottawa. They come to visit me in Ottawa, not necessarily on the set, but they'll come, and I get to spend my weekends with them and walk them around and take them to the Arboretum, things like that. So yeah, I get my little fill of my pooches in between.
Yeah. And how do your castmates love on them? Have they, how do I say this? With somebody like, say, a Steve Lund, did Steve Lund get to meet them, or maybe like an Ollie get to meet them at some point?
No, who has met them? Ish Morris met them on All Aboard for Love. That was the one I filmed on the Georgian Bay. So yeah, he loved them. Problem is that they tend to jump, and when we're wearing wardrobe, it's like, they'll get me in trouble. And who was it? No, my co-star actually wasn't on the day that they came to visit set, but the crew are the funniest ones, because they'll be like, I said, okay, if my dogs come to visit, yeah, bring them in. And then they just disappear off with the dogs. So in particular, Darcy, who was my hairstylist, but he's also does on-set photography. As soon as the dogs were in, he was just like, click, click, taking pictures, going to hang out with them and stuff in between takes and everything. So usually it's the crew like to kind of take the dogs and go like, I'll look after them. I'll do that kind of thing. So everyone's always very keen when a dog shows up.
Sure. I'll take the awful burden of spending time with your dogs while you work. How dare I?
Literally, yeah. So
everybody loves dogs. I mean, how can you not? They're so happy to see you every single time.
Yeah.
You're gone for even 30 seconds. They're happy. And they love you unconditionally for anything, no matter what.
Yeah, they say dogs show you what real love is, because they act through actions, because they cannot say words. So I'm like, so to remember that. But then there's also like heartbreaking things you hear about the lifespan of a dog. Like the equivalent of a day for them is a week in our world. And so when I was in England working, which was incredible, I missed them a lot, because I was gone for I didn't see them for almost 6 weeks. And so I was like, oh my gosh, that's the equivalent of about a year and a half. I haven't seen my babies. They're fine. They're at dog camp having a blast. So yeah, they loved it. They don't even realize that you're gone until they see you again. And then they go like, hey, you, where have you been? And then they go crazy.
Back to Steve Lund. How is he? I've seen him in multiple films, but I've never had the opportunity to speak to him. How is he in person as to acting on set or in a film as the cameras are rolling?
Steve is lovely. Oh my goodness, he came to my rescue many times on 6 Degrees of Santa, because we had a roller skating scene, and I had a little bit of training. I was not comfortable on the roller skates, but he was a hockey player. He's playing the OHL, so the Ontario Hockey League. And so he just held my hand. He was huge support throughout. He's very much like Nova Scotian. He's very laid back, East Coast, very kind, very warm. I was actually planning a trip to the East Coast, so he's giving me all kinds of pointers and stuff in between takes. And then, you know, when the cameras are rolling, he's playing this kind of like astute, you know, businessman, Jason Sparks. And he's fun. Like once like the ice gets broken in a few takes and so forth, he starts to banter. And I'm always learning. Like when I'm on a set, I'm always observing and learning how to make my craft better, how to better understand it, the lingo, everything. And he was really eye-opening to watch because he knows what he's doing. He's so precise. Like everything that he does, he knows the genre, he knows what to hit. And so watching him, just because it's not theater in itself, that you can't go back and do something. If you're doing a show, you just have to make a mistake, you have to continue, push through, and try to get back on the horse again, if you're using that analogy, like my years at theater school. With him, it was really watching him take his time, but also if he knew it wasn't right, he was like, give me one more. And so having that power, because sometimes it can feel, I remember my first lead with Olivier, we were doing a couple scenes, and we're working with what's called a Ronin, and it's like a stabilizer, and it's a very heavy piece of equipment that usually the tallest, strongest cameraman has to wear. And it's usually if there's a moving shot, and this shot in particular was supposed to be us coming up the stairs followed by the cameraman. And I think I missed a line, or I missed my blocking, and I was apologizing profusely. I'm so sorry, can we go back? Because I know how heavy this camera is. It's got to be 60, 70, 80 pounds.
Yes.
And, you know, Olivier actually said to me, he's like, it's the work. We're all in this. Like, you don't have to apologize for being here, being present all the time. You know, they know that. And so, you know, I took it, you know, because it's just me. It's what I do. I'm like, I'm so sorry. Sorry, can I go? I still do it to this day. The last movie I did, you know, brain fart, and I just say, I'm so sorry, I'm going to go back, kind of thing. But it was watching Steve work that and decide to check himself, or to try another take, and not feel that, because the movies they film so fast. Like, you are filming 14, 15 hours a day, and it's maybe a 13, 14, 15 day shoot, and that's it. So sometimes there's the extra pressure on you to get it one and done and move on to the next thing, because you've got, you have so much more work to cover for the day. And it's just having that moment and taking that time. And I saw it literally across from me when I was filming 6 Degrees of Santa. So that was very eye-opening, and it was very it was useful for me to take that and be like, yes, I can take my time with the work within reason. And also it was watching his mastery of it, really, because he just knows the genre so well that he hit. And every single line, every single interpretation of that one line was different. And I was like, oh, and then he'd do it differently. I'm like, oh, it wasn't my coverage, luckily. But I was like, wow, that it was just very eye-opening. So yeah, Steve Lund is a very, very sweet man.
Steve Lund has made a lot of films. I mean, a lot of films in this genre. But what keeps you in this specific style of film? Is it the fans? Is it the work? Is it the scripts? Or is it just everything as a whole? Because everybody's so loving, from what I know. Everybody I know. What keeps you in the Hallmark style rom-com field?
It's everything, to be quite honest. It's, you show up, and I always say, we're making magic today. And you show up, and like, the crew are just, they're so supportive. They're so hardworking. You get to work with different actors, sometimes the same actors. Like, you get to work with so many different people that come from different backgrounds that can teach you so much about the craft itself, their lives. You know, you get to share a very small amount of time with these incredible, deep people. The work that we do, it's just happiness at the end of the day that we're working through. Escapism. It's just so fun, from like the sun rising in the evening until it goes down at nighttime. They're so much fun to work on. So I feel so blessed to every time that I'm walking in on a set and I get to, they look after you so well, the crew, and then you show up, you do the work, you get to meet incredible people along the way, and those you kind of get fused together because it's such a short time, but then again, it can feel like it's going on for months as well when you're doing 5 days, 6 days straight with long days itself. The one that I did in the UK was so special. Like I chatted to the directors a couple days ago, and that film was 15-day shoot altogether, but I was there over a stretch of time itself. And yeah, it's just everything coming together, the locations, the costumes, the people, the crew, the cast, everything comes together. And then we get to share that on screen with an audience that reach out if they feel so inclined to, that sometimes reach out and they, if I can make someone's day a little bit brighter or their holiday season a little bit warmer and so forth, that touches me a lot as well. I'm always just honored if people like even find me on my obscure social media or and anytime like someone reaches out or a production company reach out and stuff, I'm like, oh my god, me, thank you. Really, me? So it's very surreal, the whole process. Crazy busy, crazy long, crazy hot, sometimes crazy cold. It's all the extremes, but at the end of the day, it's just such a solid group of people that you're working with, and it's magic we're creating. So that's a very long-winded way of saying why I love working in the genre so much.
And as a actress, you make the films, but are you an avid viewer of this style of film, or are you a fan of all genres?
I enjoy all genres itself. I do watch these movies, so I do know. The funny thing is that we never get to. I know the females, so I know my contemporary actors and stuff, but we never really get to see each other. Instead, we work with one another's kind of co-stars instead. So we always know each other almost through the broken telephone in a way, or almost at 6 degrees of separation, right? Like we know the same crews, we know the same cast members, but we don't ever actually get to work with the ladies themselves. So yes, I do watch these movies. I also I watch a lot of different types of shows and movies and things like that. So always keeping my eye open for something good.
Yeah. Which guy would you like to be your love interest? Is there one particular guy in the Hallmark verse that you would love to have as your male lead in a film?
Is this like the duos that you were saying?
So maybe could it be like the obvious one that everybody says is Tyler Hynes?
Okay.
But would it be like a Paul Campbell, a Andrew Walker? Who would be that one specific one that you would love just to be on set with and make one of these light, fluffy films with?
Marcus Rosner.
Rosner.
I'd really like to work with him. He's making his own productions too, as well, and I really admire that because that is something that I love the idea of. I know it's a very daunting process, like the production of a film. So he would be one for sure. I would love to cross paths with. Can I pick from I love Olivier Renault. I love all the boys, all of the men, all of the lovely, gorgeous human men that I get to work with. I would love the opportunity to work with Olivier again, just because it's just, we're goofs and we just have a blast together on set. Thinking on Neil Bledsoe. I have worked with him technically before, but one person was one time, I think it was one of the ladies from the Hallmarkies podcast was like, oh, I see like you and Neil Bledsoe. I'm like, yes, please, let's make that happen. Let's manifest this kind of duo together. and everything. So Neil Bledsoe would be another one that I would love to have the opportunity to work with. He's majorly talented man.
There's two that I would love to see you with.
Okay.
Specifically. And one, I will say this, a specific person that you and I both know have worked with him once before.
Who?
And it is a specific male director.
Okay.
And I would like to see you work with Christopher Russell.
Christopher Russell.
I think that would be a good pairing.
Yeah.
And the reason I say that is because, one, every single person I know who knows of him says that he's the most stupidly handsome guy they've ever seen. And we all have our little names for each star, right? So for like a Cindy, her name is a Tinkerbell, right? She's so
she totally is that too.
I call him Superman.
I
call him Superman. He's the Hallmark and rom-com Superman. He has the hair, he has the jawline, and he has the body. He has a new film coming out in August. And they showed one production still. And the dude has his shirt off, and I'm like, way to make us feel bad, dude.
Inadequate in every way.
Oh,
who's the Adonis?
I'm like, what did God do to you?
And sometimes it's just not fair. It lines up, so well for someone. I'm like, how could you not be what you are, which is just Hallmark hunk kind of thing.
And I've heard he's the most humble and nicest guy.
Yes,
ever.
I've heard that too.
But I would love to see you paired with him.
Ooh, okay, let's manifest.
But also, I have to say it's Tyler Hynes, because I can't think of another actress that I would like to see him with more. Because first, it was all the ones he's done it with, and I'm like, well, he's had Lacey. He's had her a couple of times. He had I'm so jealous with Kelly Pickler. I was so jealous. And then he had Lauren Elena. I love her music. And now he has. I'm not gonna lie to you. She is my favorite new lead star in every film. It's Hunter King.
Yes, no,
I love her to death.
She's gorgeous,
and she knows her craft. I mean, sure, her sister's a bigger star, but here's the thing: with Hunter King, she has more range. She has more of a range. In her newest film, she was so lucky to shoot in Italy.
Yeah. I saw that when I was like, how do I land? I mean, to be fair, I just filmed in England, so I was very, very lucky there. But when they were doing the whole summer lineup, and I was like, oh my God, they're filming in Malta, they're filming in Italy, they're filming in Paris. I was like, how do I get that? But no, she's cute as a button, I think, Hunter. I think she's just, there's something about her face. I just think she's just got this adorable, her cheekbones, everything. I'm really glad to see that she's doing a lot more of these films, because I just think she's cute as a button.
For me, all it was in her new film, she has to go from a big smile, so excited, to heartbroken. And it's not very often that a Hallmark actor has that type of range to do it on a button like that. That's one of the hardest things, because you have to go from big happy smiley to just monotoned and down in the dumps in a millisecond.
Yeah.
And I did go to classes, and I've had to do it. It's not very easy.
No.
But with what she had to do with the script she was given, she had no lines in that scene either. So acting with your face as an actress, you know, if you have no lines and it's just you have to act through your body without your voice. And for specific actresses, you, Hunter, and Lacey are three of the best that I've seen do it.
Oh my gosh, thank you.
And as a film fan and a critic, I don't say that very lightly at all.
Oh my gosh.
I'm very hard. I'm a
Thank
very
you.
hard shell critic.
No, thank you so much. To even be up on a line with Lacey and Hunter is just, again, surreal. Thank you. That's already very, very much, that floors me right there. But thank you. That means a lot to me. It really does. It confirms a lot of things, within career-wise and my interpretation towards the work. It more solidifies that there is depth within the world of this as well, and it's about how much you're willing to invest, how much you're willing to push your partner as well. And that's one thing I've been very lucky with, is that people I've shared screen time with have been prepared and happy to play with me on camera. And a lot of, my interpretation towards acting just in general, it's reacting.
Yes, it is.
You show up, you bring ideas, but until there's someone physically in front of you, and then you throw your idea on them, see how it hits them. If they give it back, it can be so nuanced. It can change the course of a scene, and one take will be vastly different from the other, or they might be along the same theme, so forth. But it just brings, I just think that that's where TV and film is closer to theater in that way, because my interpretation at theater school was the same thing. It's a play. It's called a play for a reason. So play. You know the script. You know the journey of your character. You know what your objective is in the scene. So play opposite the other person. Instead, a lot of people get caught on what's called autopilot, and they deliver it a certain way, and the director goes, I like that, and then they do it the same way every time. I'm like, that is not a play.
No, it's not a play.
A play is being present with your fellow actor, and I think it's the same for TV film as well, because you can, the one that I just did, it's like I showed up prepared, but until I knew exactly what my co-star was giving me in a scene, there's going to be some really beautiful moments, I think, in the one I just finished with Amy. Amy and I share a lot of favorite films, and we discussed one in particular. And after a very, very long shoot day, we must have done 16, 17 hours or something. The crew were just whacked, and it'd been slightly easier on the actors, but the crew just pulled through on that one. And she was off the next day, and we were just chatting, over social media, and she had mentioned that it was something that reminded her that this is why she wants to do this work, because as hard as the days can be, and just the industry in general, it's so much rejection and so much, you give yourself every single audition, you're throwing your heart and soul into everything, you're putting out into the universe, and then it's like, wee, bash, you never hear anything sometimes. So when you have those moments where you get to share just time and place with someone, and you're receptive to them and they're receptive to you, I think really magic can show on camera. And that's one thing that I do know that Olivier and I had in Christmas on 5th. There was a simmering chemistry, because we know each other, we want to push each other within our performances, and it just builds so much dynamic between the characters, everything. So love it.
So we've talked about the male stars. Who are some female stars that you would like to play with? Who are a couple that you would love to be in, maybe like a group film with, maybe like a Hallmark version of, say, a Fried Green Tomatoes, or a Steel Magnolias, or maybe I spitballed this to one person. Would you maybe want to do a version of a Hallmark Mrs. Doubtfire in the Sally Field role?
Oh, well, when I did Santa's Got Style, when that offer came through, they literally described it as a Mrs. Doubtfire-esque role. So Madison, I kind of sort of a little bit have done a Sally Field-ish, but I didn't have the children. It wasn't an ex-husband or anything like that. And he wasn't playing an older woman. He was playing just a guy that I thought was the perfect Santa Claus itself. In terms of actors that I would really enjoy working with, Hunter's on that list for me as well. I just think she's so cute. Like I really would love to have the opportunity to work with her, and I have, without too many spoilers, had an opportunity to work with 3 incredible actors that work within the Hallmark realm, and it was really wonderful to watch us all work together and see how we work in similar ways, which explains, I guess, why we're working in a way. Because I was like, okay, I was intrigued to see, because some of them come with a lot more history in the genre than I do. I'm very much still rookie level when it comes to them. But I was seeing that we interpret the work the same way, that we try things out. That was really a confirmation for me to see, this is how the pros kind of do it, and I'm part of the club, I suppose. So I can't give their names away without being too much spoiler. No one knows. No one already knows. But
I have inside information. I'm the special one of this group in the podcast. No, I'm not. But I have connections. Let's just say it that way.
Mm-hmm.
You guys will find out. I'm gonna guess probably October 20th. No. You know
more than me. I don't know.
With the announcement of when all the films come out, I'm going to guesstimate. I'm going to guess last year they did it 2 weeks before it aired, and I didn't like that.
Yeah.
I'm hoping it's maybe September 13th, September 14th, somewhere around there, so that we find out when all the channels are doing it.
Mm-hmm.
Because then with someone like me who watches all of them and reviews them, I have to timetable everything out of when to do it.
Yeah.
With Hallmark, it's very easy because I have that scheduled. They're all on that friendly app. They're all there. The other issue is, okay, how do I do this one, and this one on top of the other things I have to do with work, the screeners, and then my free time, which is the Hallmark movies. Yeah. How do I schedule all that together? But I'm going to guesstimate that you guys will find out probably sometime in September. I'm hoping.
Fingers crossed.
Have you heard anything about when they'll air? Maybe like a month that you've heard they might air? No? Nothing yet, no.
November or December, I think, would be safe to say.
Yeah. Right? Or we could do a little free plug here. I'm not sponsored unless they want to sponsor me. They could premiere on Hallmark Plus first. We don't know yet. With Hallmark Plus, they are doing a 3-film series called the Groomsmen series. So we could get that series on there first. But what I would like to see happen is maybe do 1 film every Saturday, maybe in the month of September. Probably no. I'm going to say start first Saturday in December and go through the month of December and wrap it all up with the 4th film. I'm not sure which film is going in which order.
Yeah.
But I'm hoping that they do it that way instead of just smashing them all together.
Yes.
Just because we want that, because we know these characters, then we know this style, we know this world now. So we get to spend a whole month with them. So it's like a TV series. A lot of people love to binge.
Mm-hmm.
When I'm watching my TV shows, I normally like the week after week after week because I get to sit with it for at least 8 to 10 weeks and I get to enjoy it for 2 full months and I'm in this world.
Mm-hmm.
So I'd love it to be just 1 movie each week. But maybe they'll premiere on Hallmark Plus coming out this September. Maybe.
Not sure on that front.
Maybe.
We don't get it in Canada. Or plus, but it shall air at some point. November, December, I think. Yeah, let's say.
Yep. They
Very
will
safe
air
bets.
on the W network, right?
W network, yeah.
Yes. Yep. But I only have a few more questions, but I have to say this hour has flown by. It has flown by. This has been one of the funnest interviews I've ever done.
Oh,
I love talking to you. It's
Thanks,
so easy.
Noah.
It's so easy.
Yeah, I really enjoy this style. I'm enjoying your company right now. So it literally has like, wow, over an hour now. Time be flying. It's like the summer.
Gosh.
You just blink and then it's already mid-July. Like, when did that happen?
I swear, 5 minutes ago it was probably March.
Yeah,
and now
I was going to say April.
we're going back to school here soon. I'm sorry.
I know. That's
working in retail.
Yeah, it's gonna be the shocker is always the adverts. When the adverts start to go like back to school, I'm like, well, I don't have to go back to school.
Oh, thank God.
I mean, I do love education. I'm always like,
yes.
I would go back to university if I didn't have to write papers or do any of the midterms. I just love learning and everything. But when it does do the back to school stuff, sometimes I'll get maybe an audition come through for a commercial, and they would have already filmed it by now for like a back to school thing, I'm sure. So
yeah. Well, learning is one of the best things we always hear. When we are younger, you never stop learning, and that's 100% right. As kids, we're like, oh, sure we'll learn. And then here I am as an adult, and one of my favorite things to do is search the streaming services for the new weird documentaries that nobody cares about.
Yeah.
Nobody cares about, like, say, how did this thing get built? How did this war go? How was this founded?
Yeah, mine's Roman architecture right now.
Oh, I just
love Roman Empire is fascinating, and Gladiator 2 is coming out. It's like one of my favorite films is Gladiator. So, but yes, I'm always a big advocate for learning, because even the project I just finished in England, there was a young girl on it, Marley, she's such a gem. She was playing my daughter in the film, and she would have a tutor with her on set, and she used to moan like crazy when it came down to, like, doing her hours and everything. And I kept saying to her, and her tutor loved me for it. I was like, oh, Marley, just take it all now. Absorb as much information as you can right now, because after you finish school, you have to pay for your education further. Yep. And so, of course, her tutor is like, oh, yes, because it means like, good, I'm going to get my student paying full attention. But I am dead serious, though. I'm like, once you finish secondary school, high school, you're paying for all your further education.
Yep.
So be a little sponge and absorb everything you can right now while it's free.
Even after. Even after, I mean, I just watched one called The Secrets of the Neanderthals.
Okay.
I believe it's called, I think it's called that on Netflix. That was phenomenal.
Oh, okay.
And then there was one called The Secrets of the Terracotta Tribe, I think.
Oh, the Terracotta Army?
Yes.
In China. Oh, okay.
And they were finding all the statues and refurbishing them.
Underground as well, like in caves and things. Yeah.
And I was watching it, I'm like, it's 6:30 in the morning. Why am I up for work at 6:30 in the morning, but I'm supposed to be getting ready for work, but instead I'm watching this?
Yeah. That's your escapism.
Yeah. And for me, I'm like, well, I've officially adulted. Because I get a lot of enjoyment out of a documentary, which is insane how when you're a kid, you hate learning. You don't want to go to school for a certain subject. Now you want to learn about a certain subject, whether it be the Roman Empire, or a tribe. My favorite thing is Japanese mythology because there's so much there.
Wow. Okay.
There's so much there
Yeah.
where there's this game that I played growing up that taught you a lot about it, and it was called Okami.
Okay.
It teaches you a lot about those gods and that world, about what they're all about, while integrating that into a wolf searching for things. It's one of
Mm.
the most interesting and best made games I think I've ever seen, while also fun. It's teaching you
Yeah.
about something of a culture that we don't learn about here at all.
Yeah.
But I personally love learning. I love it so much.
I do too. I've got like, well, if you could fully see my room, I have bookshelves. So my goal in life is to have a library one day. So, amongst other things, but I do love books. So, yeah, constantly collecting. Like I've got things about African Europeans, Black history in Britain is one of my big ones. What else have I got? Jane Austen, of course.
Come
And
on,
then
yeah.
I'm reading my books are over there, but I'm reading like Mansfield Park at the moment, a book called Sapiens, which
Okay.
is about like the I guess the origins of what became like Homo sapiens as we are today. And then, but yeah, in terms of documentaries, yeah, there's one I love on Netflix, and it's called Life on Our Planet, and Morgan Freeman does the narration for it. I will watch that anytime because it's just fascinating to me to see how, yeah, the origins of the planet came around. That the fact that like sharks are still here, that sharks and crocodiles are the oldest fossils, like living fossils nowadays. It's just that just blows my mind. So
there's two I love, and when I was in 8th grade, everybody was like, "Do we really have to go and see a space movie at this theater?" And I was the same way. And then I heard who the narrator was and what it was about. It was about Hubble up in space,
okay.
and it was narrated by Leonardo DiCaprio. And I went, sold. half the group went to sleep, and then there's me in the middle row, sucked in for 45 minutes about space when I literally couldn't care 5 minutes ago. 5 minutes ago. There's another one called Journey to the South Pacific, which is narrated by Jennifer Lawrence.
Okay.
Phenomenal. They
Ooh.
take you and you see whales and turtles and everything there. It's the most beautiful thing. I had to get it. It was amazing.
I'd
I
love to
absolutely love
explore.
documentaries.
I'd love to explore that area of the world. Traveling is another thing that I love doing. I'm like, oh, just let me travel.
You collect books.
I do.
Taking it back to Hallmark, I collect Hallmark movies.
Fair.
So if I showed you the Hallmark collection and then the Christmas section, I separate them. So the Hallmark section is like one full row, and there's like a 12 film set, 6 film sets, and 3 film sets. With Lifetime, what they do with Christmas is they release 12 film sets every year.
Yeah.
And they've done six volumes so far, and I have those. But then 2 years ago they put out a 50 film set. And I went, So the collector in me goes, what films are missing from these 12 film sets to justify this $50 purchase for the 50 movie collection? But it's awesome, just because if anybody goes, do you have this Christmas movie? I'm like, here you go.
Yeah. You have
Take it.
no excuse.
No,
unless
no
you don't like
excuse.
the person.
Yeah.
Unless you don't like them and you're like, I don't want to share.
Or
you literally have no excuse.
Yeah. Or some I'm like, I'm not going to lend that one out. There's no way.
See, I only have the electronic versions. I have the screener versions and stuff.
Yeah. For
the only
me,
time I get to see it.
I'm hoping that your Lifetime film, Planes, Trains, and Christmas Trees, comes out in the 12 film set this year. I'm hoping so. but
guess it would.
I'm hoping so. They did something a couple of years ago that us collectors really got annoyed with. They had one called the 12 Days of Christmas Eve with Kelsey Grammer in it.
Oh, yes. Okay.
And they didn't put that in a 12 film set, and they didn't put that in any of the sets at all. So the only way to get it now is if you rent it or buy it digitally.
Oh.
And I feel bad for the older people who don't quite know how to do that and only
Right.
want to buy the physicals of them, which
Right.
I'm an old soul. So
That was the one with his daughter, I think, was in that as well.
yes.
I guess, I mean, I don't know. I mean, maybe there's something about contract or something. I don't know. There could be multiple reasons as to why.
Maybe a licensing fee?
Maybe.
Maybe a music
It's a mystery.
Yeah. But
maybe it'll appear in this one.
Yeah. I have a couple more easy questions, and these are about the Christmas holiday.
Okay.
There's some Christmas movies you have to watch every single year. Or as what are your favorite Christmas films of all time?
Okay, so ones that I generally watch every year is The Grinch, just because Jim Carrey is just brilliant in that.
Jury duty.
Right. There's also because I'm born in England and then raised between North American and British culture. A lot of things that I watch are comedy specials that are always the Christmas specials. Mm-hmm. So I will end up watching Only Fools and Horses, Royal Family, Vicar of Dibley. Those are the must. Strangely, and I don't know how this tradition started, The Great Escape is always playing, and I don't know, that's always in the UK, it's always on the telly at Christmas time. Jurassic Park randomly is a Christmas film. I don't know why, but it's this weird thing about England, and those two movies play almost every single, well, Great Escape, without doubt, plays every Christmas. So those ones, what else? The Snowman. It's not a long one, but again, that's just like traditional, like, always have to hear the song that we're walking in the air. And so I think that I think hits most of my criteria. I'm blanking a little bit. The Grinch is just all that comes to mind. It's just Jim Carrey in that green outfit.
One thing that we don't ever get here, and I've tried it. I think it's the BBC iPlayer. I tried that with a VPN and it didn't work.
Oh, okay.
Just because I love a show. I believe it's on BBC One called Mrs. Brown's Boys.
Yes.
When Brendan O'Carroll does Mrs. Brown's Christmas special every year, I get so jealous because we don't get to see it.
It's not on YouTube or anything.
It usually is, but they zoom in so far on each character where they can't say it's copyright.
Right. I know exactly what you mean.
Mm-hmm. So what I did is I went, what can I do here? So somebody over here bought the rights to put the first 3 seasons and 7 Christmas episodes onto a DVD. So I bought that. So that's my way of coping with it. But I'm so jealous because everybody over there gets all the good Christmas specials every single year.
Mm-hmm. And
we get maybe an episode here, an episode there. But instead, our thing is the Hallmark Christmas movies.
Yeah.
We get like 5 of those each week from October until sometimes past January 3rd, sometimes.
Yeah.
But what are some traditions you have with your family every Christmas?
Every Christmas, overeating, absolutely. Always overeat. My mom's always kind of strict with me around Christmas. She won't let me decorate the Christmas tree until like 4 days before. So that's always like a moment for me. So then I can just put my, little decorations and everything on it. Definitely, well, watching the shows, I always take my dogs out for a nice long walk with my dad, usually on Christmas Day. Sleeping.
Yeah.
I have like the most you know, I don't know. They're like, I am not glamorous when it comes to like, Christmas Day for me. I always talk to my siblings because my sister lives in the States, and then my brother doesn't live in Toronto. He's a few hundred kilometers from Toronto. So we always end up chatting to them, chatting to family in the UK as well. I guess what else are we always up to? We have our Christmas crackers and things like that.
One of my favorite things for the past 10 years is always well, it was the Queen's speech every single day. Well, every Christmas, I think it was at noon.
Yes.
In the UK time. I always looked forward to it, and it always came out here about maybe 2 p.m. our time. So I always looked forward to that, but now it is the King's. Did you ever watch that as a family when you were over there, or do you still watch that speech every year?
Honestly, I think actually growing up, I would always sleep through it and then not remember until later. They're like, oh yeah, they haven't done their speech. To be honest, I'm not the biggest fan of the royal family, so I don't tune in to watch just because of my own personal preferences. I mean the BBC, because BBC is always playing when I'm at home. They will often show parts of the speech, so I more or less have seen it. And again, Toronto time zone, we're 5 hours behind the UK. So again, I'm usually asleep when it's going on.
Yep.
But yeah, I'm not the biggest monarchy fan, which I know is a surprise to people sometimes when they're like, you're from the UK, but you don't like the royal family. I'm like, no, not particularly.
Well, I mean, here in the States, we have some interesting things going on right now. I'm not the biggest fan of the guy running it.
Yeah.
I'm not the biggest fan of the guy who's going for it again. So for me, it's a double-edged sword. It's either I vote or I don't vote.
Yeah.
And I will say this. Either way, with who wins this election, I'm just hoping it's a good, clean election. No fighting, and everything that happens over there with the king and the queen and I'm really praying for Kate right now because she's going through it. But I'm really praying for her. But everything there, we might not be the biggest fans, but we just have to say, I may not like our president.
Yeah.
But that doesn't mean I don't respect him as a person. It's just our beliefs.
Yeah.
And that's us as human beings.
Yeah. For me, it's like because I love history as well. So much of British history, the crown and the throne, the royal family is so intertwined within that mysticism, that pomp and ceremony. I love it. We see changing of the guard whenever we're back in London. So I do love that part of the tradition. It's just it's the institution that I'm not so keen on, and the formation of it and the continuation of it as well. I just sort of think where Britain's past that. And surprisingly, when I was in the UK, I asked quite a few people, and very few are fans of them as well. So that was just interesting because, again, I love to understand people's perspectives and hear their point of views and everything. And that was quite eye-opening. And it's funny that being in North America, and if I say I'm not a monarchist, I'm not like a royalist, I'm not a fan of them. Especially I think a lot of North Americans just in general, and a lot of Americans love the royal family, and I'm like, you guys were smart. You got rid of them 250 years ago. We haven't figured it out yet. Even in Canada, I'm like, how do we get rid of them?
I will say this though, as a minor fan of them,
Mm-hmm.
when the Queen passed, I was at work. I remember they broke the news, and my heart just sank.
Yeah.
Just because she was the Queen.
Yeah.
I didn't know her. I didn't know a lot of what she did in her younger years. But for me, it was the Queen.
Mm.
She was her.
Yeah, it's that sense of constancy that is
Yeah.
gone all of a sudden. I was on a set. I think I was in hair and makeup tests for a movie, and it was announced. I was like, oh okay.
Yeah.
No, it had seemed like it was going to be the language that they were discussing it on BBC and everything. I was like, something's up. And
Yeah.
if you think of it romantically, I mean, she passed on about a year after Philip, maybe.
Yeah.
She was ready.
Yeah, I think she was, and as soon as I heard she was sick, I'm like, oh, I got a bad feeling.
Yeah.
And then when the news passed, I canceled all my plans because it's just like the only person that I knew consistently for that long who reigned was gone.
Mm-hmm.
And that was just one moment where I went, wow, we're all connected, because everybody felt something.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody felt something, whether it was just pain. If you love them, it was pure pain and pure just sadness. But for us in the States, I think it was mostly sadness. But for me at that age, it was just, she's gone now.
Mm-hmm.
How are they going to do everything that they have to do? And how soon are they going to make him that new king and everything? So that was just very hard for us over here to watch, I think.
Yeah.
But yeah. Well, I think I've kept you way too long.
No.
But
we've just been chatting. So
yeah.
easy to do with good company.
And
I'm sorry, I feel like I've lost my daylight. Like the sun's gone down. That's why I kind of look like a vampire to you right now. Because I'm only lit by my computer screen. So sorry if I'm looking strange.
Well, I have a bright lamp, and I'm like,
you were smart and you thought ahead. So I didn't do that.
Well, this is just my set. But my last question is, would you want to come on when your next Christmas film comes out, or when your next fall film, whenever the one you just shot overseas comes out?
Yeah, that's a Christmas one as well.
Okay.
So okay. Absolutely, I would love to be back. I'd love to meet the rest of the team as well. You stepped into their shoes most valiantly, Noah, so you did a fabulous job. So it's been an absolute pleasure. And yeah, absolutely, anytime, like if I'm around, if I'm not, well, we would hope working, I'd love to chat more, definitely.
We will be in touch very, very soon. But right up to stream, there is one more thing I would like to ask you off stream.
Yeah.
But this has been awesome. Where can we find you on Instagram and wherever you have a page?
I do have a website, so it's www.thekathryndavisofficial.com. If anyone's curious to see sort of previous resumes and videos and things from other projects I've done. And then I am on Instagram as well. My handle is at _Kathryn, Kathryn _Davis, DAVIS. And I go by, Kathryn, or my nickname is Kat, so you can call me Kat whenever you like. Yep. I just go by Kathryn because that's like what my resume said. And now people call me Kat on set and everything because Kathryn feels too official, too royal.
Yeah.
Makes me feel like I'm in trouble whenever someone's like, Kathryn, I'm like, what did I do? Because most people know me as Kat. So, yeah.
Well, that's a lot better than at my work. Is just, hey, you.
Never.
And I'm like, well, okay, thanks, Mike. But this has been awesome. We can't wait to have you on again.
Thank
And
you.
I will pass on your love to the rest of the team, and we will talk to you guys next time. And as always, keep your heart full of Hallmark.